Welcome to Wood Buffalo Recovery Update. I'm Craig Momney, and it's already been 1 year since the wildfire nicknamed the Beast ripped through the Wood Buffalo region, changing the lives of 88,000 people. Now, the mantra during the evacuation was, "We will rebuild." And if you've been through the affected areas, you know that to be true. We'll get an update of the recovery process so far, as well as we'll talk about upcoming community initiatives. All this coming up on Wood Buffalo Recovery Update. Welcome back to Wood Buffalo Recovery Update. My guest now is Jeanette Bank, the chairperson of the Wood Buffalo Recovery Committee. How are you, Jeanette?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Can you believe it's already been 1 year since the wildfire?
Feels like a blink of an eye, really.
It actually feels like yesterday then. We were evacuating on May 3rd. Now it is May 3rd again, or the week of May 3rd. So much is happening. Are you surprised at how far we've come so far?
I personally am not surprised. I, have been in Fort McMurray for more than 6 years now. I understand the spirit of our residents. I understand the can-do attitude that we have here. I know a lot of individuals that aren't from Fort McMurray are amazed at the progress we've made so far. So I'm not surprised, but at the end of the day, I would just say that I'm thrilled with how our community has responded to our recovery.
Now, I know the mantra while we were evacuated was always, "We will rebuild, we will be back, and again, we will rebuild." How far have we come since last year?
It's almost too much to talk about with the progress that we've made. When we're looking, if you want rebuild numbers, rebuild being 1/5 of what recovery is, we have 657 development permits issued already, representing more than 900 dwelling units, or beds is what I like to call it. We've got 31 people living in their homes. They've been issued their reoccupancy permits, and so we've got people already living at home, moving forward with their lives.
And while they are moved in, there is still a number of people that are still waiting for their homes to be rebuilt. Tell me about the resiliency of the Fort McMurray in general, and some of the challenges some of them are still facing.
So, when we talk about resilience, there for sure are residents that are most affected have shown significant resilience and continued hope of their own personal situations. But I think another part of the story is our neighbors that are supporting their own neighbors that are looking to rebuild and looking to recover, and there's lots of challenges that are still to come. One being the rebuild and coordinating houses being built beside houses. It's not like a normal development, right? It's sometimes you'll have a house built and one beside it isn't built, the next one is built, and so how do you get in there to rebuild that house? So lots of coordination needs to happen around that, and of course, as we know, insurance is still a challenge. Not that our good friends at IBC aren't doing their jobs, but insurance policies are different and unique for every single resident, so that of course is a challenge. One of our biggest challenges, I would say.
You've most likely been around town, whether it's at Mac Island or even around the mall. What's the current mood of McMurray around town, have you felt?
Wow, there's such a broad spectrum of emotion, and so, I was just reading the paper, one gentleman who's, pretty much rebuilt his house. He's so thrilled and happy with where he's come in recovery. There's, other individuals that have, a steeper hill to climb, and they're not there yet, and we're hearing it already about May 3rd, myself as well, getting emotional. You're seeing things on TV, you're reading the paper, and it's just bringing everything back. So, even though we might take a little step back mental health-wise this week, but all of that's part of the healing process.
As the chairperson, how are you feeling about the current recovery?
Regarding our progress, I'm absolutely thrilled. I really couldn't have asked for a more dedicated and passionate task force that we have. The committee members that we have as well, we had, as 6 community members, 3 councillors. Everybody's heart is in the right place. Everybody is standing behind our residents and supporting them through their recovery. And, the diversity that we bring as a committee, I think, has done us well in the significant progress that we've made to date.
Do you feel that we are where we should be after a year?
I think we're ahead of plan, actually. So when I consider that, with our 5 pillars of recovery, all of the work that's been done concurrently, the planning that's been done as well to move us forward even from today is pretty much done. So the majority of what we need to do now, there is of course some planning still to be done, but the majority that we need to do now is the implementation of all our strategies and our continued engagement with our public.
The committee, like we were talking off camera, the committee will be phased out as of June. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, like I said, I think we're in a really good place as a community. I think that the task force that will be staying behind to continue the implementation of strategies that already have been created are very competent and, like I said, passionate and devoted to our community. I think Mayor and Council, I mean, we voted for them. They've been, running this community for almost 4 years now, and they're well able to carry forward the work that's already been done. And, at the end of the day, as a committee, while we could make recommendations to Council, they're the ones who actually made the decisions, right? So, I think they're well prepared to do that, and when I've talked to Mayor Blake, she's ready to take that on. I know initially it was a recommendation from Slave Lake that we have this separate committee, and I think it was always meant to be about a year, right? And like I said, we're ahead of plan, so pretty happy with that.
With the task force, how do you feel about what you guys have accomplished since you first began?
Just extremely proud. At the end of the day, and I'll say this on behalf of the whole committee, I think that we did what we were meant to do, right? We hired an awesome team lead. We engaged with our community. We engaged with residents. We listened to our residents. Several of the strategies and policies that were implemented were created from stakeholder engagement and resident engagement, and I honestly, on behalf of the committee, I think we're just really proud of how we've served the community through this, difficult time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for being on the show today, Jeanette.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back. You're watching Wood Buffalo Recovery Update right here on Shaw TV. Welcome back to Wood Buffalo Recovery Update. My guest now is Nadia Power. How are you, Nadia?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. What is your role within the task force, Nadia, and what does it entail?
So I'm Community Impact Strategist, the people pillar of the Wildfire Recovery Task Force. And really what we're looking to do is expand on opportunities for the community to come together to celebrate spirit, pride, resilience, and also to really support people owning recovery, keeping residents engaged, keeping them well informed, and looking at all of the different aspects of things, activities that are happening in the community that make it a more supportive environment, and ways that we're able to bring some more attention to bear around those things, and also just to support having more of those supports available in the community.
One word that you kept reiterating was support.
Support.
Support is obviously needed during this whole recovery phase. What types of supports are there in the Wood Buffalo region?
Well, strictly from a psychosocial perspective, what I would do is refer people on to rmwb.ca support, and that talks about the different counselling services that are available through Alberta Health Services and the Canadian Mental Health Association, Borealis Counselling, and all of the different groups that are providing counselling and support directly to residents. But as well as that, I mean, it's practically unlimited. We have so many different non-profits out there and different organizations that are supporting, whether it's the Arts Council supporting recovery for the arts, or RMWB's regular programming and the different services that we provide to recreation, to leisure, arts, cultural, spiritual, all of these different activities that we know are so important to recovery of the region.
Why is it so important for mental support, though, as well?
The people pillar of recovery is one of the pillars of our campaign plan, which includes rebuild and mitigation and environment and economic development. And while we have our own pillar and our own areas of focus, the reality is that the well-being of residents, the well-being of people is paramount and overarching over everything that's happening in recovery. And so I would say that people need to feel in a strong enough place to be able to take on the challenges that are inherent in an area after such an event as we have experienced. And so what we're trying to do is to provide the support that people need, and support to the organizations that are directly interfacing with our residents to see like where some of the gaps are and to try to address what some of those gaps are to make sure that we do have a fulsome wraparound service available for residents.
What type of advice would you have for somebody who is still struggling with the recovery process?
Oh goodness. Recovery is different for everybody. Recovery is different for everybody. There's no timeline for it. You know, there's no way that we can say at this time, this is how you ought to be feeling, or because you were impacted in this way, this is how you ought to be feeling. What I would say is that acknowledge that you're feeling this way. Be gentle with yourself. Know that we don't expect you to have it all together by now. All of us on the recovery task force in the RMWB, you know, when we're talking about our residents, we're residents here as well. And we try to acknowledge the fact that people are going through this at their own pace. And we can't really tell when we're going to say, okay, check mark, now here's one more recovered. It's not like we can say, we can count the number of houses that we're building, or we can count the number of permits, or we can quantify you know, the support that we're providing to businesses. You can't do that when it comes to recovery for people. And so what we're trying to do is just make sure that whatever stage, whatever it is that you need, that we're hoping to provide to meet that need, and acknowledging that it's different for everybody.
And during this whole recovery process, there could be the little things that could set people off and remind them of the events of May 3rd, from seeing like a cloud of smoke, a siren. What are some normal things people are experiencing right now during the recovery?
Well, we've just, it's been a year. And we're heading back into the time of year that we have always experienced fires in this area. We know that some of the controlled burns and some of the fire smart activities that have been happening, people are seeing smoke, and that can definitely be a trigger. And we're very sensitive to the fact that right around the anniversary of when this happened, that people are thinking, this time last year, what was I doing and where was I? We're anticipating that. We know this from other areas that have gone through something similar, or ours was unprecedented, but from other areas that have experienced a disaster. We know that the anniversary, right around the time of 1 year after, can be a particularly significant time. And what we're trying to do is prepare for that. And one of the ways that we're wanting to do that is do things like providing opportunities for the region, for the communities to gather in neighborhoods, in their own communities, an opportunity for residents to come together so that you know that there are supports available, and you know you're not alone in this, whether that's the support that you're looking for, or just to know that there's other people that are going through this with you. It's important for people to get out and to connect with their neighbors.
Now, you mentioned the Fire Smart program. I know when that first started, my daughter smelled smoke in our condo, and immediately her mind went to evacuation. Is the city burning down again? What are we doing? Do we have to leave now? If somebody else is also feeling that same reaction when they do smell that smoke or see smoke or hear that siren, what are some things that they can do to better themselves or support themselves?
We have three great psychosocial coordinators on our team, and we were talking about this just a little while ago. And you know, I think that what they would tell you, and what I would say too, is that the most important thing is to first really try to assess what is it that you're experiencing. So you smell smoke, where is it coming from? Is it a controlled burn? Is it, you know, assess the threat and really try to educate yourself on what is it that is happening. Be okay with your response and just be mindful of it. So that is what I would suggest, you know, the people first really just try to see what is the threat, and is this something that's a controlled situation or not.
Now, with the anniversary, there are events going on down at Sny Park. What are some of the upcoming events or projects or ongoing projects that you're currently working on right now?
Well, in addition to the event that's planned for here in Fort McMurray, I think you're familiar with the whole tone and intent of this. We want to provide the opportunity for residents to gather, and it was important to us that we bring that same opportunity right out across the region, because it's not just for McMurray. We know that the whole region has been impacted, and so we worked closely with our Department of Indigenous and Rural Relations, and through the stakeholder engagement specialists that we have with the Athabasca Tribal Council and McMurray Métis, we were able to talk to every community and to say, what is it that you would like to see? What is it that you would like to do? And what the Recovery Task Force is doing is creating that opportunity as well, right at around the time of the anniversary, right at the time when people are thinking about what was going on this time last year. And so we're doing that in many of the communities in the region, providing the opportunity for all communities in the region. But then you're going to see us back out there again. One of the things that we're rolling out in May is our Neighbourhood Network program. And the Neighbourhood Network program will see coming to neighbourhoods within the urban service area, coming to every one of the communities that is interested in having us provide an opportunity for the residents to get together and to talk. And so what's a little bit different from this, I mean, we've had engagement sessions and we've had communications where we're trying to get information out, or we're asking you, about a specific issue and a topic. What's different about the Neighbourhood Network program is that we're encouraging an opportunity for residents to come together. But you set the agenda, you tell us what it is that you want to talk about, and we're there just to observe and to support where we can. So this is all about enabling residents to have the opportunity to take on more of the direction of the different types of projects, different types of activities, depending on what the priorities are in their own, on their street, in their town. So that's one of the things that we're doing, and we're very excited. We'll have 30 plus sessions from May right through to the end of the year. We have a lot of different partners involved and coming out and supporting that, but primarily it's to get the message out there that we're not trying to tell you what this is. We're giving an opportunity for you to come together and tell us what you'd like to see it become. The other thing that I'm really excited about is that we have been really wanting to get to see what our approach is going to be. We know that the arts community is hurting. We know that there's been a lot of impact, and we haven't done a lot of digging into that to see exactly what does that look like. So now I'm delighted that a group has come together, mobilized, decided that they should collaborate to work together on two goals. First of all, to see what is needed to support recovery of artists in the region, and also to look and see what role does the arts have in recovery of the whole region. And so we're working together now with the Wood Buffalo Arts Council, Keano Theatre and Arts Centre, the Suncor Energy Centre for the Performing Arts, RRC, and as well we have representation there from RMWB administration. The task force is helping to provide the environment for this group to come together. They're developing their plan, they're putting the plan in place to talk about how they're going to be able to reach that ultimate goal of supporting artists and having the arts have a role in recovery. So that's something we're working towards as well in the coming months.
How does arts have an impact on recovery?
Oh my goodness, arts is just so important to a full and healthy overall well-being. It plays such a vital role in the vitality is such a cliched word, but you know what? It is. It plays such an important role in what the character of a community is. And also, at a time when people may be looking for an outlet to talk about how they feel, the arts can provide that. So different types of arts, whether it's performance art or sculpture, writing. So the arts can provide a way for people to communicate how they're feeling. It can be a safe environment. It can be an environment where you come together to share, or you can do it, solitary yourself. And it's part of the narrative. It's part of the dialogue, and it's part of the character of the region. It's a way that we can capture this time in our lives and can use it to help us move forward.
And I know we do have a strong arts community here in Fort McMurray.
Yes, and we have such a motivated group that are together now and just so excited to get going and to see what does the plan look like and to dig into some specific activities around moving forward in the recovery of the arts.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show today, Nadia.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
You're watching Wood Buffalo Recovery Update right here on Shock TV. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this episode of Recovery Update. For more information on the upcoming community support initiatives, you can head over to the RMWB's website. And remember, you can watch every Recovery Task Force meeting live right here on Shaw TV. Thanks for watching. I'm Craig Momney, and we'll see you next time.